friends out there, it's Mr. Leonidas. Hope you're doing well. And this is my video review of the Sniper Bladeworks SOF Chopper. And the overall review of this knife is going to be split into two major videos. And I did that just because I thought it would be kind of neat, a little different. I haven't done that in quite some time. I think the last video review of a knife I split up into two sections was for the Sly Steel and Tops Knives Shark Tooth Tactical, and that turned out pretty well. So this is the actual the review part of me talking. The other part will be the actual field testing video, and that should be a fun video as well. So for this review, I'll have this broken down into three different parts. The first part, I'm going to talk about the specifications of this knife, and the second part, I'm just going to explain what I do and what I don't like about this knife, and then I will close with the third part of the video of my final thoughts of this knife. So like I said, this is the review of the Sniper Bladeworks SOF Chopper. This is, from my knowledge and what I've been told, this is their first production knife. This knife is actually made by Condor Tool and Knife in El Salvador, which is pretty cool. A lot of you guys out there are very familiar with Condor. You know, they put out fantastic blades, especially if you're on a budget, really nice knives and tools. The specifications for it, just real quickly, is the overall length. It is 15 inches long. It has a 9-inch long overall blade. The handle is 6 inches long. It is composed of 1075 tool steel. The thickness is about 0.2 inches, so 2/10 of an inch thick. The handle is micarta. It does have 3 lanyard tube holes throughout the handle. The blade coating is just a black traction coating, and the overall weight is 17.5 ounces. And one of the cool things about it is it comes with a genuine British military frog style sheath for the British bayonet. Pretty cool sheath system it's got with it. So that's the first part, was the specifications. Right, so now for the second part of my video review of the Sniper Bladeworks SOF Chopper, I want to talk about some things I really like about this knife and maybe a few things that I don't. Now, I'll first and foremost explain how I originally stumbled across this awesome blade. Now, this was actually back in 2015. I was on my Instagram page, and I ended up on Sniper Bladeworks page, and I saw this awesome chopper that they were coming out with. And I took a look at it, and I said, man, that is a really awesome looking knife. And it reminded me of the Condor Warlock machete that I know my buddy Wildman, he absolutely raves about. And I just was getting really attracted to the overall blade profile of this. And I saw that they were going to be making this through Condor Tool and Knife, and I was like, man, that's really exciting. So I honestly just thought about it for quite some time, and I really couldn't get it off my mind. So my brothers and I, we finally put a large order into Blade HQ back here early 2016, and I've been working with this knife ever since, and just really blown away with it so far. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about some things that I really like about it. The first thing, obviously, I liked the blade style. It's called a Go-Lock, or you can also classify it under a Bolo, like a Bolo machete, but I believe they're going to go with Go-Lock on this. And just a really awesome recurved blade profile. Really happy with it, just really cool to work with. So that was the number one thing. Another thing is, after working with it for quite some time here, it is just a very, very comfortable knife. Just an excellent handle design. I've always liked the Sniper Bladeworks handle design. It's got a really nice curve to it, and it's got a little bit of a thumb ramp back there and a very deep finger choil, and it creates actually a very nice guard. And for a bushcraft chopper like this, it's very ideal because it's not very pointy, and it's not very catchy, not very rigid. It's very smooth and comfortable type handle and guard, and just really pleasure to work with. And then the blade steel is really good. It's a 1075 like high carbon tool steel. Holds an edge very well. Really easy to work with. And one of the last really nice things about this knife is the sheath. Now, I've obviously added a few things on here. I've got a Tops folding saw, a buck skinning knife on here, and just some accessories like that. But it is a British frog style sheath, and just a really nice sheath. It works really well with this knife. And I was just actually one of the main attractive points to me to getting this knife was the sheath. I thought it was really well done, just to kind of add something old school to a modern, you know, chopping blade, and I was just really impressed with it. Very smart choice on that. Now, something that I don't like, and this is probably going to be the only thing, is this is an extremely thick knife. which is good, but the grind is flat and it doesn't really flatten out very much. It's a pretty steep grind, especially the edge. The edge is a very, very steep grind. It's probably 25 degrees. Now I will say that makes probably cuts down on it being a really, really good slicer. I believe it could bite through stuff a little bit better if it wasn't quite as thick all the way through. But I know that's very common with Condor tools and knives, that they tend to be very thick and robust. And like I said, it's a good thing, but I feel like maybe it could bite deeper in some things if it was a little more thinned out. Now, maybe a summer project I might do is just take like a belt sander and smooth out the grind on one side, and I believe you're going to get a whole lot more chopping power of this. Now, overall, it does chop well, but I feel like it could chop better if it wasn't so thick all the way through. But it does make a very strong blade. I'm going to close this video review with the part 3 of my final thoughts of the Sniper Bladeworks SOF Chopper, or you could call it the Sniper Bladeworks Go Lock. And I want to first and foremost say that the overall performance of this blade is solid. It's fun to work with, very comfortable knife, and it seems to work against most types of woods. I will say it works, I would say, better overall with chopping against more fresh woods. But this is also a very nice batoning blade. I had a really good time with it. I batoned some really difficult woods at a certain point, some very tough driftwood, and I was able to hammer through it. And this knife took a lot of abuse, and the coating actually held up fairly well. It took some nicks and chips, but that's another impressive thing of this knife is also the coating. It seems like, you know, especially for Condor, I'm actually really impressed with that coating. And it's just overall a pleasure to work with because of the comfort. This handle is just amazing. It's very, very comfortable handle. I really can't be positive about it enough. Just really blown away with it. Now, another thing is that something I didn't like as much was the overall thickness, especially at this edge, was so steep that it made it a little more difficult to chop through certain materials. But I feel like that's something that's not, you know, it's not a deal breaker because that can be remedied. With something just like a belt sander, you could easily smooth out one of these sides. You could easily fix this grind. You could do a Scandi grind on it. That would probably make this even more effective. But overall, the performance is pretty good with this knife. And it's really nice that it's so heavy duty. This is probably one of the most robust heavy duty choppers, knife styles that I've ever really used. You guys know I'm a big fan of the Tops Armageddon, and that's a really nice knife. But the blade does get pretty thin, and the tip is very thin on that knife. So the Tops Armageddon is not a knife for prying and digging and smashing stuff. It's more for chopping. And this knife is more what I would call a utilitarian blade. Is you can do all sorts of awesome stuff with this. I mean, digging, smashing, cracking, prying, and all in a bushcraft knife like this. It's pretty impressive, honestly. And then I'll just end with the overall comfort. Really, that's just something I have to just really impress upon, the comfort of the knife, and then the overall utilitarian value. And just overall, I think you really get what you pay for. It is one of the more expensive Condor blades out there, but you know, you're paying for some of the Sniper Bladeworks name, which I think they have a great design. It's a really cool design, and really impressed with it. And there's some really good qualities to this knife, and just really blown away with the sheath, because you can even upgrade the sheath. You can get different style frog type sheaths. They make some camouflage ones. I may even get that, and then there's some MOLLE compatible additions you can do to these, which is pretty cool. So overall, I just had a really good experience with this knife. I enjoy carrying it and working with it. Hope you guys enjoyed the discussion part of the review of this knife. Like I said, the testing and the field testing is out there, and I hope you enjoyed that as well. So thank you so much. Mr. Leonidas signing out. If you did enjoy the video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you can comment, I would love to read it and respond. And also, please subscribe to my channel. I'd appreciate it. Have a good one.